Good morning. A well-timed day off for me yesterday. I didn't do any green screens. I didn't do any trading. Did you? Well, we'll have a look, see if there were any angles yesterday. Lots and lots of matches with nothing to play for. I suppose this is a good time to talk to you about the relationship I find between odds and outcome. It can give you an idea of which market to select, particularly if there's no value in the match odds. Czech Republic 1.02. So I've said it time and time again. Anything under 1.1, you're looking at a scoreline. A win to nil probably, unless you're Portugal and you let Armenia score. You're looking for a win to nil. Why don't you choose 3 correct scores between 4-0 and 9-0? Have a lucky dip. Get it with the bookies, and you never know. Are you going to go odds or even though? So the Czech Republic, it's 2 choices for me. It's either 4-0, 6-0, 8-0, or 5-0, 7-0, 9-0, or a combination of the 3. If you're lucky enough to hit the 6-0, you're going to get a rather decent payout. You see 6-0 with Bet365 there, 9.5 odds. That gives you the opportunity to back 3 scorelines, doesn't it? And you'll still make a profit. So that's the way to turn a 1.02 shot into a near 10-1 return. Okay. Well, so much for the battle of the defences, Germany and Slovakia. Both sides keeping clean sheets regularly. Germany did what they did against Luxembourg. A bit slovenly in the previous encounter, but emphatic in this second encounter. And again, the relationship between odds and outcome. With something like 1.3 or lower, I would be looking at 3-0, 3-1, just in case Slovakia score, and any other home score, which encapsulated the Germany win there at 1.27. Malta and Poland, well, you're expecting 0-3, 1-3, any other away score, but a little bit lax defensively, the Poles, in arguably a match with very little really to battle for. So you still see the relationship between odds and outcome in this perspective from a goals perspective. You're expecting 3 goals at least from the Poles, so that gives you an opening gambit at over 2.5 goals. You might want to just up that to over 3.5 goals to find some value. Let's see what the odds would have been for 3.5 goals yesterday. Would it have been better than 1.27? Let's have a look. 3.5 goals, 2.75. A lot better, isn't it, than 1.27 pre-match. So you can actually create some value here as well by using the pre-match odds as a kind of a goals template for you. It's time and time again this occurs. 1.05 again, 4-0, 6-0, 8-0, or 5-0, 7-0, 9-0. And again, just crossing the line with the 4-0 for the Dutch. These odds as well also suggest the possibility of a goal before half time, don't they? So again, that's another angle for you, particularly if it's 0-0 after 20 minutes. And then we get these kind of odds. The market is giving a nod towards Northern Ireland, but it's by no means an emphatic conviction that they will win. And that, again, is mirrored by the scoreline. But a great scoreline for Northern Ireland, by the way. Delighted to see them win. I think this was an important win for the Northern Irish. Let's have a look at the standings. No, it wasn't really, because they are guaranteed a playoff place because of the Europa League or their Nations League performances. So not really a match with anything backing it. So that's another lesson. Watch out for dead rubbers. So it proved itself well, the odds yesterday. And if this is something you want to pursue as well, you can get an idea of goals by looking at Odds Checkers football accumulator. Well, outside the UK is marginally outside the UK. I'm Guernsey. I can get to England in an hour. Over and under 2.5 goals. Pay attention to anything where the odds are decimal. Anything at about 1.6 or lower for over 2.5 goals. It's a really good indicator. So they're expecting goals today here, 1.55. And you can see elsewhere, very lukewarm, 1.17. Again, that's going to align with Romania's odds, isn't it? I suspect Romania's odds are going to be ultra short or unbackable. 1.65, Austria on the cusp of being a good candidate for over 2.5 goals. I do this every day with league football for our bet and go strategies. I haven't done it, of course, for the international break. I'm giving it a break, but it does give you a good idea. Of course, we ignore international friendlies. So this can give you an avenue in. It happens a lot with the German Bundesliga, this. And you see, we've had weeks where every single team in the German Bundesliga on a particular Saturday had over 2.5 goals at odds checker at 1.6 or lower. It does augur well for goals. The corollary of that, you look at leagues like Italian SerieA B, and these are the types of odds you tend to see for over 2.5 goals, i.e. the market is factoring in the defensive Italian bent there. So let's have a look at today's trading angles on what I think will be the last day of international football. I think, because Wednesday there's nout going on. And if we're going to carry on with this conversation about odds, I do pay particular attention to home favourites at odds of between 1.5 and 1.7. As a trader, they ordinarily provide you with a good, good battle, particularly if they concede. They do tend to fight back. I'm starting to sound like Bonnie Tyler again, so let me just have a drink. So as well as knowing that this is an over 2.5 goal league, you've got kind of validation here with these two matches. So if you were to play overs today without investigating, that would probably be the two matches you would focus on, wouldn't it? Looking at today's World Cup qualifiers, probably dead rubber city, I would suspect. But let's have a look. 1.3 Austria, a 2-point advantage over Bosnia Herzegovina. So they just require a draw. We've got a couple of matches today where one side requires the win, the other side requires the draw. So the draw is in play. You must remember that. So if it's a draw late on, you do lay it. I would lay it something like 1.2, 1.15 or lower, because one side does need to win. So you might get some late action. You might get some Troy Parrott magic occurring. So in this particular case, the draw is in play for one team, if not the other. Only Austria have beaten Bosnia, who simply must win. So we've got a must win against a would like to draw, and we'll still finish first if we draw for Austria. So it's a difficult one to unpack. The market's telling you that Austria might be going for the win today. Or rather, the rankings suggest Austria are just too good. The only team to have beaten Bosnia, by the way. Belarus and Greece, it's a dead rubber. Okay. If you're going to be disciplined, you don't play dead rubbers. But, yes, you would have got a very nice profit, Serbia, Latvia. So there might be extenuating circumstances, perhaps anything 103rd or over 100 in the rankings. And you know how good Greece are, to be perfectly honest. They showed against Scotland the second time their potential, but they cocked it up at the wrong time. They are a side to look at for the next 4 years, I think, the next World Cup after this one. They've got the youth, but just the naivety, particularly defending within their own penalty box on set pieces. That cost them against the Scots. Belgium and Liechtenstein. So you've got 1.01 here. So where do you go immediately? You go to any scoreline between 4-0 and 9-0. Choose three of them. Again, the odds infer a correct score win to nil, don't they? Belgium, still must win, albeit a draw may do given their superior goal difference. So just be careful that the draw may be in play as well. As I said in the angles, 5-0, 7-0, 9-0, 4-0, 6-0, 8-0, 4-0, 7-0, 8-0, 5-0, 6-0, 9-0. Any combination of three of those, you've seen how good the correct scores are. Let's see what they're like for a 1.01 shot. Literally unbackable. Well, immediately with 3-0 being at tens, the market is expecting more than 3 goals, isn't it? Wins to 0 or wins to 1 or wins to 2, not expected at all. 4-0 is at 6-1. That's not too shabby, is it? For a 1.01 shot. 5-0, 5.5. So the market's expecting at least 5 goals quite comfortably, really. It's a bit skinny, isn't it? 5-0. So the market's expecting a little bit more out of the Belgians today. Again, 5.5 to 1, 6.5 decimal for 6-0. And 7-0, 7.5. Still, the market thinks that is possible. It's under 10 to 1. 8 to 1, 8-0, 9 to 1. So that's just outside the market's thinking. Just outside that grasp, I think, 8-0. But the market, if you're following the market's expectations, you'd be looking at the 5-0, 6-0, 7-0 corridor, wouldn't you? 9-0 is at 14 to 1. So the market's not expecting Belgium to get that far. But you've got a clear indication that the mid scores are the ones to possibly go with if you have faith that the market makers are accurate. 5-0, 6-0, 7-0 are the actual pretty much favourites. And that aligns with the short odds, doesn't it? And aligns with what we normally do, which is to look for a win to 0. So if you do want to play 1.01 shots, you know they're going to score at least 3 or 4 goals. That's your foundation point there for Belgium. And similarly, we had Romania a bit later on. Nope, they've moved up. They were 1.02, they're now 1.03. So we've got a similar story with the Romanians. Let's go back and make sure we know our dead rubbers and we know which matches to focus on. The Swedish-Turk duopoly in Bulgaria and Georgia's group means Bulgaria 0 points, 3-0 Georgia head-to-head. These two are out of contention. So we've got a lot of dead rubbers today. Got to be very, very careful with. Kosovo, 84th in the world rankings, but they're sniffing something here. Second in the group and 3 points and 12 goals shy of the Swiss, who are incredibly tough to score against. Guaranteed second place and a highly improbable win by 13 goals. This, realistically, is a dead rubber, isn't it? Bit lukewarm, the market. Big rankings differential. It is realistically done. Switzerland finished first, and their goal difference is superior because they're not conceding. And Kosovo will finish second. They can't be caught. 4-0 Swiss head-to-head win. That's not reflected in today's odds, is it? You'll note. Okay, so that's important. 1.62 is not suggesting an emphatic victory today. Romania San Marino was 1.01, now up to 1.03, a massive 1.03. And you saw with Belgium, there's probably going to be a set of score lines that the market favour. Wins to 0, the market favour above the others. So we go to the odds and go to correct score. And you'll probably see the mid score lines will be the ones which are the favourite. So let's have a look at 5-0. 3-0 is at 6-1. So that could be something for you to think about. The market's suggesting they might not go to town, Romania, today. 4-0 is only at 6.5 as well. So those the market's telling us are within grasp of Romania. Then 6-1 for 5-0. 8.5 for 6-0. So in contrast with the Belgians, the market's not as emphatic in its opinion that Romania can get more than 6+ goals. Now we're starting to get This was 9-0, wasn't it, for Belgium? So today the market's thinking the Romanians won't get higher, really, than 7-0, even 8-0 at 21. So you've got, at least in this match, a lowering of the sights from the market makers compared to Belgium. So you'd have to include, I think, 3-0 in the equation. 2-0 is at 10-1. Why? Because it's a 1.01 shot. Shouldn't be winning 2-0. They should be winning by a lot more. I would, in this case, perhaps select 3-0. 5-0, just in case they go to town. 3-0, 5-0, and maybe stop off at 6-0, because 7-0 is starting to get into double figures. So 3-0, 5-0, 6-0 could give you a really good run for your money. Of course, you're going to get paid out a lot more than if you're backing at 1.03, which I hope you're not. If ever you see those odds, you've got to be a layer first rather than a backer. So Scotland and Denmark, juicy, juicy, juicy. They can't be caught in second place, the Scots, but a win for the Scots in Glasgow today will usurp the Danes in first place. This is going to be a fascinating match. 20th against 38th. The rankings are tight enough. A draw, a 0-0 is enough to secure. So we've got yet another match today where we've got a must-win versus a draw. So the draw is in play. So as I say in the research, lay the draw low and late. Spain and Turkey, 1.22. That suggests to us 3-0, 3-1, any other home score for the Spanish. 14 goal difference between them and Turkey. This is a dead rubber realistically, isn't it? 1-0 and 2-0. Spain are logically first, keeping clean sheets and scoring 2+ goals. 1.22, you should be looking at 3-0, 3-1, any other home score. Let's have a look at this match and see whether the market agrees with me. They'll have shaved off a bit of confidence because it is a dead rubber. So the Spaniards might be fielding some of the peripheral players today. At least if I was an international manager, I would grab that chance to field or to see some of my peripheral players. So 3-0 at 7-1. 3-1 at 9-1. Any other home score is at Betfair. That'll be 4-0 onwards. 4-0 is at 11. So the market really, it's not too confident that this is going to be a high-scoring affair. Look at the odds already climbing massively. 5-0 is at 16-1. So it's telling you its range, which looks to be, well, 2-0 is at high odds because it's expecting more than 2 goals. 3-0 could be a starter today. Maybe sticking a goal for the Turks, 3-1. And any other or an other score. But you can see 5-0 in contrast to Belgium. 5-0 was still short, but here 5-0 is at 16-1. So the market's expecting a lukewarm performance from the Spaniards today. Why? Because they've got nothing to play for, have they? It's a dead rubber. Sweden and Slovenia, 40th against 51st. So rankings-wise, they were very tight. Graham Potter's new team. And, well, if you've seen him make an absolute pig's ear out of West Ham, he wouldn't be first on my list for Sweden. I'd rather choose Bjorn from ABBA to manage Sweden than Graham Potter. 2-2 last head-to-head. Sweden have qualified for the playoffs via the Nations League. Third on 3 points. Motivation the factor, as they have nothing to play for, the Slovenians. So this, for me, and it should be confirmed if you look at the standings, it's a dead rubber, isn't it? Now, when you've got a new manager, you've got to weigh in that factor that he's probably going to be looking for the win with home advantage. Just to, well, psychologically get off the bottom of this group. So that has some context to it, that this could be a competitive affair. Sweden at home under new management. Although if I was a Swede, I would not want to be seeing Graham Potter as my manager, that's for sure. Wales and North Macedonia. 5-goal negative difference between them. and North Macedonia, same points tally. A 1-1 at home against Belgium suggests defensive stoutness for North Macedonia. The draw is in play for North Macedonia, so please remember that. It's yet another one of those matches where the draw is in play. Must win for Wales, though, because of the poor goal difference. So let's take a look at this. So if you're looking at the standings, it should reflect what I've just said. 13-13. Because of the goal difference, Macedonia only need a draw, because a draw will be as you were, won't it? They'll both move up to 14 points, and the goal difference will remain as is, won't it? Because it'll be a draw. Wales have to win. So, again, if it's a draw late on, it suits North Macedonia, but I would lay it, I would target it 1.2 or lower in the hope that the Welsh come alive and get the 3 points that they require to leapfrog North Macedonia. Could be a nervy one, this one. What do the odds say about this? Could be an interesting story. Let's have a look. Well, expecting more than one goal today. Bit lukewarm about whether they're going to see 2 goals or more. Over 2.5 goals is evens. So the market's in 2 minds. It's literally evens. It could go either way. So says the market. So that's something for you to factor in as well. The market's not too confident that over 2.5 goals will be reached. I agree. The nerves could be there as well. It's one of those matches to lay over 0.5 goals at the start of the match. Very short odds, and hope that this becomes a nervy, tight affair. What a pity Ryan Giggs couldn't play. So again, we're facing dead rubbers, and we're facing matches where one side needs to win, the other needs to draw. So it's going to be an interesting encounter this evening. I will be up and around for you. And I'll see you later. No XG, of course, today, because we've already got our trading angles, haven't we? We know who needs to do what. We know which matches are dead rubbers. So I hope you see the potential relationship between the odds and the outcome. That can give you a good handle into what to expect in a particular match. Have a great day, and I'll see you a little bit later.